up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Murda J. You see the thumbnail. We want to know what is next for Mercedes. As of right now, we know the Mercedes experience is canceled. We know that Mama Benz has stole money. We know that Baby Benz is about to have a mini Benz. So it's all kinds of messed up for her. She done kicked out her roommate Hailey, and we know that they got a whole bunch of new girls at the Pink. Now, y'all got to bear with me. We're going to get back to these double uploads. I tested negative 2 times for the C19. I'm just under the weather. But before we jump into this, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of it, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. And make sure you hit that like button. Also, follow me on Instagram, Murda J. Now, Miss Mercedes, what are we going to do? We have a lot on our plate. So what is next for her? What do you think that Mercedes is going to do to get through this whole drought? Because we have, what, 3 episodes left? So let's jump into it. What is next for Mercedes? The first thing we got to touch on is the Mercedes experience with Coach. We know that she's been up here messing with Farrah. We also know that she was telling Farrah, look, I don't want you to mess up any of my money, because Farrah's been doing a little bit of backdooring behind Coach. That 10,000 won for both of them. It was just for Coach to have Mercedes on the side. Now, when she gets up here, you see Coach is getting himself prepared. And this is her plan. This is $10,000 a weekend, people. You can't go wrong with that. But guess what goes on here? Coach is the first man in history to get upset during a threesome that your wife is enjoying the one that you're paying for more than you. You're supposed to enjoy both of them. But this is very bad for Mercedes because she's been dependent on this $10,000. We know that she's not making any real money from the strip club. We all know that she was making $300 during the pandemic. Now she's getting a little bit of money off of the door, but it really ain't nothing compared to this $10,000. Now, we all had a feeling that this was going to happen. There was a couple of people throwing out theories that maybe Farrah was setting this up in case she wanted to get back at Coach. They've been together 19 years. He chased his dream. His dream was to have something on the side. All you had to do was speak up, Farrah, and let him know. But what Mercedes was doing was taking this $10,000 a weekend, every weekend, 40 a month, to be able to build up that foundation to potentially get Terrica back from Shell. We already seen how her and Shell interact. Shell said that Terrica was a mistake. So, of course, Mercedes wants to get her daughter out of that situation. But when she comes in here and she's like, you owe me $40,000, I'm with Coach. I'm not paying $40,000 for something if I don't get $40,000 worth. And there's no JJ in the world worth $10,000, $5,000, $1,000, let alone spending $40,000. But this right here is all bad for Mercedes because she's not making any money at the strip club. $300, a couple of dollars off the door during the pandemic, that ain't gonna work. So this puts her in a deeper bind. And it's going to be even tougher for her because you got to remember, she's buying food for Shell since Shell is an alcoholic. Now, they actually have an interview with Mercedes, aka Brandee, on Insider. And she says, I think that is attractive in a sense when you got something that's motivating you to do better or do better. And I think that's what attracted Farrah to her. Now, we were all wondering, is this the end of Mercedes and Coach or even Mercedes and Farrah? In this last paragraph right here, it doesn't really give us too much detail, but it says on Sunday's latest episode, Savage, Coach Haynes sensed the two women's attraction during a threesome and figures out they've had sex behind his back. He's infuriated with his wife, and then then she tells him she might like P more than he does. He sends Mercedes packing without that 40 stacks they agreed on. Now, that 40 was per month. That's 10 a weekend. Now, the money that Farrah gave her last week, that $10,000, hopefully she can make that money last at least 2 or 3 months. We know that the dance studio was $1,700. She's spending a lot of money on makeup. But other than that, you shouldn't be spending no more than $2,500. You can make that last 4 months. But Farrah fights for Mercedes, and the two share a look that leads viewers to wonder if the affair is really over. Now, when they say that, it might be over between Coach and her, but I think Farrah might still be throwing her a little bit of money on the side, because you heard what Coach said. He basically called her a hood rat and said, you need to go back to the hood and get the hell up out of here. So Farrah might be tossing a little bit of money on the side, and they doing their own little hookup, which will be good for Mercedes, especially since we just found out that Terrica is pregnant. Just like us wondering what's next for Mercedes, Mercedes is at the house, 40 bands blown. And hey, you know you're going through it when you're sitting in the dark drinking on that Henny. But her daughter pulls up. And if you remember when we first had the exclusive clip, I think it was maybe episode 3 where her and Terrica were talking, I mentioned that the cycle continues, and that's exactly what we see right here. So while Mercedes is here thinking, she's already trying to get not custody, but trying to get Terrica to come live with her because she doesn't feel like she's safe with Shell. We already seen that Shell's an alcoholic. Shell had her driving around, no license. She got arrested. So Terrica shows up, and you just got fired from your little side gig, which was potentially $40,000 a month, which there's no way in hell you can mess up $40,000 a month. You got to do whatever the stipulations are. But now your daughter shows up and you have to figure out, what are you going to do? Because you're not making enough money for you to just survive. Now you got to worry about you, your daughter, and your granddaughter, and potentially making sure that Cell has a stable home, that she isn't blowing it all on alcohol. Now, I don't have kids, but I can only imagine my 15, 16-year-old daughter coming home and saying that she's pregnant. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm like, hey, you were out here acting fast. You were acting grown. You wasn't crying when you was in there doing what you were doing. But this is still a bad situation. I know they're a kid. They make mistakes. But at this point, there's really nothing we can do. So Mercedes is going to have to figure out, is she going to take the same route that Mama Benz, aka Miss Patrice, took? Or is she going to embrace her daughter and make sure that she raises her child in the best environment possible? Now, this is a very touchy subject right here that I'm not going to really dive into. So I want to hear what you guys got to say in the comments, specifically the women. Do you think that she's going to let Terrica keep this baby and help raise it? Or is she going to be like Patrice? Me personally, I think that she's going to take the different route from Mama Benz, because she sees how everything played out for her. So she's going to embrace this, and they're going to bring this child in together. All right, there you go. The Mercedes experience is over. Now it's Grandma Benz. So we need to figure out, what do you think is going to happen in this situation? Is she going to go back to the pink, or is she going to try to get a job to help take care of her daughter, help take care of Shell, because Shell is being an alcoholic? Let me know what you think. I'm Murda. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.